This is a Rubik's Cube. It has 6 different sides, 6 different colors, and can be twisted, turned, and shuffled in many, many different ways. This is the Ruby Flat. It's a little project I've been working on inspired by a challenge that I gave myself while learning how to solve the Rubik's Cube. I wondered, hey, is there a way where maybe from only one side could I solve the entire cube? And the answer is surprisingly yes, and we'll get into that as I want to demonstrate just how to do it. But this, as you can see, is the Ruby Flat itself. I typically Twitch stream this, and the entire thing is controlled through chat. So you can tell me to do things like move the left side up or the top to the left. It's neat. I like it. And I do want to thank anybody who has participated or at least come and watched. It's not many, but it's more than nothing, and I appreciate that. So to solve a Ruby Flat, I have this here, shuffled Rubik's Cube. And for the purpose of this video, I will be looking at the multiple sides just to expedite the process, but all you'd be normally doing is looking at this red side. So you can move the sides, the top, the bottom, and even rotate the face, but you can never touch the back side. Pretty straightforward. Now, I'm going to, as I said, solve this, and the best way I've learned how to do it is that little daisy on the bottom. So what I'm doing here is trying to get the white edge pieces where they need to be. And in this case, you can see I went back to the red side just to simulate what that would look like. Although, again, I am cheating slightly by actually looking at the cube. You would not normally rotate the cube around. You'd have to kind of shuffle the sides around just to figure out where each piece is. But for the most part, once you get an idea of how things are supposed to go, it almost becomes second nature. So I solved the cross. We're doing the 4 corners at this point. And you can see there's like a couple different ways of doing it. And honestly, if you really want to and you're good enough about it, you can actually solve edges and sides at about the same time. But I sometimes misdo my steps as easy as it is, or I just kind of lose track of faces, and for me it's just safer to do the cross, then the corners, then the sides. Now in this situation, where you have to do the orange-green and the orange-blue sides, you have to do this really funky trick where you gotta offset the edge, and either have it facing you if it's orange, or facing to the opposite side if it's, say, the blue or green. And you have to rotate whatever side you're doing it for 2 rotations, and this will allow you to kind of socket it back into place. Now it does mess up your white corners, but as you saw, you just have to kind of rotate the cube just a little bit, and then you can resolve them and put them back into place pretty easy. Thankfully for this example, I actually had both situations for orange sides where both the colored side that you're doing is facing up where the orange is facing you, and the opposite of that. I've had both, so you can kind of see both different solving methods. And I do apologize, I am trying to voice over a pre-recorded clip. And as you can see, we solved the first 2 layers. Now the top will need to be done, which I'm just validating here how you would do that. You would just kind of have to go through and check to see if there's any yellow. If you see yellow, that means that it's in the wrong spot. You'll have to do some moves to get it fixed, but I do want that yellow cross. And then do a few moves just to kind of put the corners where they need to be, and then do this very simple algorithm to solve the corners. I do apologize, it's a little quick, and my arms are kind of hurting, so there's a reason the cube's kind of going in and out, but this is typically how it goes. Again, the entire idea is you can only look at the red face and move the top, the bottom, and the 2 sides. Now, if you do find this project interesting, please maybe consider come over to the Twitch channel. I have been streaming this off and on now for at least a little bit. I don't really have a consistent schedule, but this is something that's completely cooperative. You just go on and you can type in the different commands in the chat. Once again, I do want to thank the few people who've actually been on and at least supported me through viewing. And I think the 1 or 2 people who actually typed in some commands. This is just kind of an off-the-wall project. You know, it's something I enjoyed, and I wanted to find a way to share it with more people. So, I mean, first steps first was to at least get the Twitch integration working, and obviously now you're seeing this video. Now, it ain't perfect. I mean, both this production and the cube itself. I do plan on working on both. But, you know, as an additional idea, I think it's pretty solid. I hope you found it very fascinating. As I said, please feel free to come join us. And, you know, even if you like just weird projects like this, maybe consider subscribing or even dropping a like. It really helps out, and, you know, it kind of validates my ability to put the time in. Show you some of the wacky things I keep doing, because I do at least have one more in the pipeline. And I think you'll really, really appreciate that one, although I gotta figure out some copyright stuff to really validate how to present it to you, I guess would be the best way to put it. But, you know, thank you so much for giving me your time, and I do hope to see you in the next one. Have a good day.